when people do rehabs, they're not trying to do a rehab. They call it a rehab. But what most people do is try to drive obedience into the dog's head.
Yep.
So maybe the dog knows the obedience, maybe it doesn't know the obedience, but that's not the problem.
Right.
But they're going to drive it into the dog's head. There's video after video of people using e-collars in place with a muzzle and a prong and food and like just doing all these things that to the person who does not know what they're doing, including themselves, they think they're doing a rehab.
Right.
But what they're doing is taking a dog that doesn't trust, doesn't understand, or does completely understand. So doesn't trust, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe they did it, maybe they didn't do it. But like a rescue, how many rescues have you seen that are just like, right?
Right.
Number two, a dog who's like, I've had enough of this shit, and as long as you fucking don't, if you don't bother me, I'm not going to bother you. But the minute I feel pressure, I'm going to be like, back the fuck up. And then, so that usually scares the hell out of trainers. So typically male trainers will go, yeah, but the dog is like, yeah, back up. And they're like, well, let me get a lot of equipment and I'll show you.
Yeah.
Right? Because the minute you start adding equipment, you're trying to stack the deck in your favor.
Right.
Right? So that means you're afraid of your opponent.
Yeah.
Well, they look at it as an opponent. That's not your opponent.
Right.
You saw what we did with the Cane Corso.
Yeah.
I wasn't his opponent, was I?
No.
No. I was like, this is I'm gonna have to teach you that there's an order to things, and I'm not gonna freak out like everybody else did. I'm not just gonna weld you like everybody else did. We're gonna take it one step at a time, and I'm gonna put this leash on you. That's how it's gonna work. Did I put the leash on that dog?
You did?
Yep. You can stack the deck in your favor with things that you already have that are right there. But if you start bringing stuff from the outside in, you're afraid of the dog. Right?
Right.
You can't read the dog. You're not reading the dog. You're like, nope, fucking muzzle, prong, 2 e-collars, placemat, and there's people who go, I'm not feeding you till you calm down. Right?
Right.
Right. So what they're doing is they're not trying to rehab. They're trying to just hammer it down. Like, you don't fucking do anything that I don't tell you to do. Right?
Right.
That is the definition of don't do anything I don't tell you to do.
Let's talk about, I don't know, dictatorship.
Well, it's a dictatorship, but it's also the gateway to learned helplessness.
Mm.
So they're taking a dog that's been traumatized, confused, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or just has bad genetics.
Right.
Right? And they're all using on the I don't know, force end of the spectrum. They're going, like, I mean, how many times have you seen people say, well, every dog gets a muzzle and a prong and it's in the crate? You know what I mean? Like, you're not looking at these dogs as individuals.
Right.
You have a system. They'll tell you they have a system for rehab. And people are like, I like systems. I don't want my kid in a system for rehab. I want my kid to get individual counseling. I want my kid to understand, not fucking just wail on them until they fucking do what they're supposed to and withhold the food and all that shit. I'm not going to do that. But these guys, that's the fucking thing they do. The other end of the spectrum for a rehab is just give the dog everything it wants. Yeah. Give the dog everything it wants.
And never have a problem.
Never. So Dylan had that thing from Tufts. It was you should ask him for it. It's really you should absolutely get your hands on that. They went to Tufts University for a behavior problem.
You read it out loud.
Yeah,
right?
They don't touch the dog. They don't touch the dog. They watch through a one-way mirror, and they're like, yep. So he's afraid of light, so keep him in the dark, right?
Yeah.
He's afraid of loud noises, so keep a radio on and don't make loud noise around. So all you're doing is teaching this dog to avoid, or you're going to avoid things that stress this dog out, instead of teaching the dog that these things that stress you out are nothing. You don't have to worry about it. So give it food, give it this, give it that. But the problem with that is that eventually, life comes in. Life comes in, and the dog is not equipped for it. And the dog has had, this kind of like Anne Frank kind of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just living in a. That's not a life for a dog. But they can't see that. They think they're helping. They have helpful feelings.
Yeah.
Right? Go back to the other side. They're not interested in helping. They're interested in showing you that they know what they're doing. I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And because you are so traumatized by your dog being afraid or coming towards you or whatever. You saw that video on the Art of Dogsmanship where the guy's doing this. You're not understanding what you're doing. And there's people who will go, fuck you to me. And I'm like, I want to show you. Like, come here. And I'll show you. I'll show you this. Why would you say fuck you to that?
I have no idea.
I'm trying to give it away.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yep.
Fuck you. Go with God. You're going to die. But the thing is that over time, this is what people don't understand about rehabs. You start to go, look, I'm not fucking around anymore. That scares the shit out of me. We're just going to fucking bring him to the warehouse and zap, zap, zap. We're just going to fucking turn him into a zombie. Remember I told you the pug and the pitbull?
Yeah.
So what is a rehab? What is a rehab? So when you were doing training the other day with Justice, and you came in and you were saying heel and stuff, and she was all over the place. I said, you don't have the dog. Now that's going to be a thing that's going to start to come out because that's you and I. That's never happened before. Like I didn't look at Dylan or Aiden or anybody and go, you don't have the dog. That's just you and I. So you instantly understood what that meant. You don't have the dog.
Right.
Right? But the dog's not a threat to you.
No.
The dog's not a threat to me anymore.
No.
Right? But she was in a different place.
Yeah.
Right? And so when people don't see where the dog is and then say, let me focus you. And you can actually teach that dog to focus much more quickly and reliably if you go slower.
Yeah.
So there's people who are going to watch this and be like, I have no idea what you're talking about right now. Yeah, I know. And then look at Justice. Did I ever put a muzzle on Justice?
No.
Did I ever put a leash on Justice?
No.
I've never put a leash on that dog.
No.
No. Did I correct her? Probably 3 times in her life.
Yeah.
And correcting her when she's not leashed is way more effective than correcting her when she's leashed because of what she's learned when she's on the leash by people trying to teach her things.
Right.
So just the leash takes away so much of the trust.
Yeah.
That dog knows when you pick up that leash, I'm going to defend myself. You do that in protection, don't you? You teach the dog to protect itself. But people are starting younger and younger with these dogs, and they don't have the maturity to understand it.
Right.
So what they did to that dog was criminal. In my opinion, it was criminal. But it's a good dog. And you said to me the other day, I never thought her being social was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Because you were convinced that she was going to be antisocial for the rest of her life, and it was a management problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is.
At
But
best, neutral.
yeah, but she fucking loves me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
She went to me. She went to Shalamba. She went to Janelle.
She went to Austin.
She went to Austin. She'll go to April. She went to April.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this dog changing like that? Because of 3 corrections. Really 1, but then 2 little reminder corrections that were so quick, so fast, and so understood. There was no muzzle. I told you, never put an e-collar on this dog again. And we're not working her with a prong, are we? No. So what happens now? People see this dog the way they were, or the way she was, right? And then they see that we're starting to do obedience and stuff with her. And people they don't realize how bad that dog was.
Right.
That's one of those things. We got the dog back to 0.
Right.
Which you never thought would happen.
No.
You were not honest with me about that, by the way. Right? That was kind of an internal thing where you're like,
yeah,
I love her, but she's going to have to stay away from people. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, something like that.
Yeah. So you start to see and you start to go, oh my God, people don't see what the dog is thinking. They don't, like the dog is like, I mean, a dog is talking, man. It's talking. And when you put a human with it, I told you this last night, a human being can lie to me, but I can usually see it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Was that accurate?
Yeah.
A dog will never fucking lie to you. Never. Correct?
Correct.
You might miss the signal,
Yeah, but
the dog didn't lie, right? A human and a dog together, I got you.
Yeah.
You can't lie to me in how you communicate with that dog. You cannot. I can see it. I can see what you're doing. Janelle sent that beautiful video. That beautiful video last night. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And you were like, oh. You started thinking about what you're not seeing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How good was that video?
That was good.
Oh, my God.
15 seconds.
Yeah, 15 seconds. Dogs will teach you everything you need to know, right?
Yeah.
And she can't see it. But then there's places where everybody, so fear stops your will to move forward.
Yeah.
Right? So the minute a dog comes in and is going, "Arr, arr, 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 arr," if you become afraid, you start to think of defending yourself. So the first thing is, let me put on gloves. Let me get a muzzle. Can you put the seat collar on the dog? Can you do that? Can you do this? All those things are there. I don't care what you tell me. You do not put equipment on if you're not afraid. If you understand what that dog is saying and you understand how to communicate with the dog, there are dogs that have come through these doors where the first thing anyone's ever done, 5 times before they've come to us, people come, they put a muzzle on them and an e-collar. The muzzle was first, the e-collar was second. You don't think that dog goes, oh, fuck, that muzzle's first, and then here comes that fucking box. You don't think that dog thinks that? But people go, I put it, but stop talking about why you put muzzles on dogs. Start thinking about what the dog thinks when you put a muzzle on it.
Right.
So there's a behavior chain there. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see? So all of those things that people do not understand about dogs is because people have gone to results instead of understanding. People have gone to career instead of craft. And people have gone to pseudoscience instead of the dog will teach you everything you need to know. So when I look at people doing evals, tell me if what I'm saying sounds crazy to you. I think it's just thoughtful. I don't think it's, I think you're looking at exactly, like you have to educate that human. You can't just take the dog
right
and say, I'm going to fix it. Because the dog's going to go right back into that shitty, uneducated human way to live.
Yeah.
That's why the whole name, it's not the dog, it's you. Embrace the suck. Like, you want to fix this? Because everybody goes, oh, I'll fix it. I'm invested. You have no idea how many shitty behaviors you're going to have to stop. Join, what's that nutso kind of workout thing? Everybody's CrossFit.
Yeah.
Join CrossFit and don't change your eating, sleeping, and drug and alcohol habits. You're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it.
You won't die.
Right. Go in the military and don't change your disciplinary habits. You're not going to make it. You got a dog that's confused to the point where it's going like, what the fuck? And you're going to go, I'm not changing. You have to change. I know I made you like that, but fuck you. I'm a human. You're a dog. You change. Well, where do we go? Let's try purely positive first. Here's some cookies. Okay. We do that. And he still bites us when we go to the vet. Can't help you that. More love? I mean, what? Okay, so let's go to, there's a former cop who knows, he knows dogs. He knows dogs. Let's go over there. Okay, can you guys put this muzzle, prong, and e-collar on the dog? And what I'm going to do is we're going to have, I'm going to get a baseball bat, and you can have a Doberman, and we're just going to fucking go. I'm going to teach this dog. Yeah, teaching the dog shit, but it can't trust you. This is work. And when you got all these people, look at the mat video with the place, the prong, and the electric collar. And the dog is so stressed. So stressed. And then I've had people say to me, noted dog trainers say, well, you know how it is. You got to tell them who's boss right in the beginning. And I'm like, you don't tell them who's boss. You don't show them who's boss. You tell them and you show them that each one of these individual behaviors are not going to work for you, and I'm the one that's going to make the decision. Now that sounds just about the same as what they're doing, but it's so different.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? Like, you want that fight. You want the dog to come in and go, I'm going to bite you, and you go, well, we're not going anywhere else. How long did it take to get the leash on the Cane Corso?
Hours.
And right after that, was it easier or harder?
Much easier.
It was always easier after
Yeah.
that. So I'm going to invest the time up front and take that opportunity to have a lesson with the dog.
Right.
That's an opportunity. If you're trying to get to the result, you're missing the opportunity.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's what I was thinking, is that people are so systematically believing all these, I don't know, it's like birth of these people who don't know what they're doing. The pseudoscience of, remember the muchacho thing? Here's a PDF.
Blanket
Here's a
protocol.
PDF.
Yeah.
He bit the UPS guy. Well, can you show the UPS guy the PDF? Like, what are you doing? Put the blanket down. Like, I get a fleece blanket. It's got to be real comfortable. Put it on the ground, and then teach him when he goes to the blanket, click and feed. What behavior are you modifying?
The safety blanket.
Sure, that's the purely positive place.
Yeah.
Now you go to the negative side, and it's like, get off that motherfucking place. Get off it. All right, you're not getting off. Here's some food. What are you doing? What are you doing? I've watched noted trainers take the muzzle off after they do their e-collar training. You can find this easily.
Yeah.
And they go, all right, we're gonna take the muzzle off. They don't trust their work.
Right.
They do not trust their work, but they're like, ta-da, don't do it loud, ta-da. Like, are we not seeing shit? Like, what are we not seeing? So it's really hard for me to get people are so programmed to see what they don't know what they're looking at.
Right.
That we have to educate them about what they're looking at before, like, that has to come to them slowly, like how fucked up things really are.
Yeah.
Because I've tried going like, are you guys crazy? Like, well, you're a hater. Okay. Let's go slow. Let's go slow. Let's slow it down. And that's what we have to do.
Because the truth will set you free, but at first it will hurt like a motherfucker.